So for as much research and planning and thinking things through as I did before I started my TCG business, I still made a lot of mistakes. I watched videos from Pokémon, Brian over there at Pokémon. I did tons of searching online, research, all sorts of planning on figuring out how to run a business, how to start a business, everything that I thought I would need to know, from finding inventory, to buying shipping supplies, to advertising, to building a website, to all the legal documents, the bookkeeping, everything that goes into running a business. I spent so much time researching, and I still made plenty of mistakes. I'm sure I'm gonna miss talking through some of them. And actually, number one on my list, great segue, is I did too much research. I spent too much time thinking, too much time planning, over analyzing, watching tons of videos, reading articles online, listening to podcasts. And what I really needed to do was listen to Brian at Pokémon and just do something. Learn on the fly, figure it out. Yes, you're gonna make some mistakes, but apparently, even when you do a ton of research and planning like I did, you're gonna completely ignore things that someone like Brian told you to do. And you're gonna mess up anyways, no matter what. So mistake number one is I didn't just start. I did too much planning, too much overthinking, and in the end, I ended up making a ton of mistakes anyway. So that's number one. Number two, I knew that when I started, I wanted to go the website route. I've sold on eBay in the past. Seeing all those fees coming out of every sale is just so painful to me. And I knew that eventually my goal would be to start a website. So I went straight into a website. I wanted to sell Japanese Pokemon. And this is my next mistake, is not realizing how hard it was to sell on your own website when there are millions of websites out there and thousands of people trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. You can't just go all in and buy a ton of a Japanese new release product and think you're gonna sell them all right away. And Brian, I know you had some videos talking about this, but Dodo Bird here didn't listen to you. And before I even started and launched my website, I ordered 20 boxes of Battle Partners from Japan on release. Actually, I think it was before release, which is even worse, because if you don't know anything about the Japanese market, you're gonna pay a lot more to order an item before release. The closer you get to that release day, the lower they start getting that price. And then when you order after release day, you get a better price. So yes, I wanted to have those products on hand to be able to sell them right at release, but I didn't have anywhere to sell them that anyone knew where to find. So that is mistake number two. I ordered a ton of new release Japanese product. Is a mistake in itself, but to amplify that mistake, I didn't have a way to sell it quickly before it tanked in price. Luckily, I was able to move a lot of it because I worked for a sports card shop and I had to go set up at a show in Chicago. Owner of the shop let me put some of my own product on the table, take a little section for my Japanese boxes. And luckily, of the 20 boxes, I was able to sell probably 7 of them or so, I think it was, at the show. I ended up selling a few of them on the website. But the way that I got those sales was mistake number 3. I spent way too much money on advertising my website on the front end. I started to panic a little bit. I have way too many boxes from Japan that I paid way too much for. I'm watching their market value just crater and drop quickly. And I'm thinking, oh crap, I made a huge mistake and I'm just getting started here and this is gonna be painful. Luckily, sold enough of them that no matter what I sold the remaining ones for that I hadn't sold right away, I'd at least break even on. So I did get through that, but I didn't learn from my mistake and I continued to pay way too much for advertising my website before I was established enough where it really would benefit me. I didn't have enough products on my website to justify paying for the advertising that I was paying for. And in the long run, I essentially just broke even on all the sales that I made for the first probably 3 months because I was just pumping way too much money into advertising. I was posting content on Instagram, but I wasn't doing it consistently enough. I wasn't branching out and posting on YouTube, and I'm finding that YouTube is way more enjoyable for me. These long form videos tend to do a lot better for me than the Instagram videos did. And that's the next mistake I made. I was not posting enough on social media. When you're running a website and nobody knows who you are, they're not going to trust you unless they know who you are. Even if you spend a lot of money advertising, you're still just a name of a website that nobody's ever heard of. Not many people are just going to randomly decide to trust some website they've never heard of, especially when they're buying a product like trading cards, Pokémon cards, that are highly, highly susceptible to scammers who are selling fakes, right? Or they're just going to steal your money and not send you product. That was the next mistake. Not posting enough content, not getting an audience out there to know who I am, to start learning who I am and trust me and want to support me because they liked me from my videos. There's a lot of people out there that I'm sure hate my guts. There's a lot of people out there that like me. No matter what your personality is, there will be an audience of people who will watch you. I know I'm not a big fish. I've got less than 1,000 subscribers, but I'm getting close. I'm just over 100 subscribers away from making it to 1,000. In no way, shape, or form did I ever think I was going to reach this point. And the longer I get consistent, the more consistent growth I see on my subscribers, the more consistent views I see on my videos. Again, that's not a ton of views. I'm a very, very small minnow in this sea. I'm smaller than a minnow in this sea of content creators. But I get enough viewers and enough support from my videos, people who learn that they like me, that they trust me, that it makes all the difference in the world, and it will pay way more dividends for me than advertising ever has to this point. So especially if you are starting a website, but no matter where you're selling, whether it's TCG Player, eBay, vending, wherever you're selling, post content. You're gonna get followers, you're gonna get people who just want to support you because they like you. You're gonna eventually get to a point where you're gonna be able to monetize your channel. That's gonna be a little bit extra boost to your income stream as well. I'm not there yet, but I'm creeping towards it. And I'm looking forward to that day when I get to the monetization status and eventually be able to post affiliate links as well. You can't post affiliate links until you get partner, I believe, because I tried to do it and I got denied. So start posting early, guys. You want to sell stuff, you want to make a business, you got to have a following. The biggest companies in the world, they've got a social media team, and there's a reason for it. The next mistake I made, not a huge, massive mistake, but I didn't follow my own advice. I knew in my head that the more bulk you buy of your shipping materials, the better for your business in the long run because you pay less per item. It's a lot less painful when you buy boxes in bulk and you get a box like this for about 40 cents versus buying in a smaller quantity and that 40-cent box costs you over $1, closer to $2. Buy in bulk on the shipping supplies early. Be committed to doing this long term and it will pay off. If you're just starting out, you got a small capital, I would suggest starting your business on a different platform than a website. Start on eBay, TCG Player. Just pick another platform that has a ton of buyers already built in who are out there searching for what you're selling. Start a website later on when you start building up the capital. Even though I say my mistake is I didn't buy things in bulk, that's because I had enough capital that I could have afforded to do it. I just chose not to. If you're starting out and you don't have a ton of capital, you can't be spending your money on shipping materials. Your money needs to go to your inventory. If you're working with smaller capital, You have to put the most dollars possible towards what you're selling, not your shipping supplies. For me, I didn't have an insane amount of capital, but I had a few $1,000s to work with. I went out and I bought the boxes. I wanted to have a very professional feel to my product when it showed up from my website. But if you're selling on eBay or TCG Player, people understand that there's a lot of people selling there that aren't businesses. Reuse your Amazon boxes. Reuse your boxes from Target, Walmart, wherever you're getting boxes from. Reuse them until you get to a point where you can afford to take capital away from your inventory and put towards making your product look professional in the mailbox. And then the last mistake that I made, I believe was a mistake for me, was even though I was spending all my time and energy on my website, I wish I had started selling on eBay as well sooner. In reality, it really wouldn't have taken that much effort for me to list my boxes on eBay and my website just for another source of revenue coming in the door. Even if you're making a little bit less on those sales, it's extra revenue coming in the door. It's faster churning and burning of your inventory. You get your capital back. You place another order with your Japanese supplier. You start building that relationship with your Japanese supplier, become a steady order for them. And then the last, I wouldn't call it a mistake, because my goal in the long run is to really focus on my business as a sealed product seller, not a singles seller. But I have really enjoyed buying and selling singles as an extra little side part of the business. It's a lot different than ordering from Japan, a lot different sourcing, obviously a lot different shipping practices. And it's just kind of a nice little break for me. So even though I like it a lot, it's not my main goal, but I wish I would have done what I said in my previous video about throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. I wish I would have tried more varieties of selling sooner so that I could see, hey, I really enjoy vending. Even though that's not going to be my main source of revenue, it's a lot of fun for me. I like getting out there. I like getting my name out there, getting my business out there, and it's fun. But there's a lot of people out there who it's their worst nightmare to go vend and set up at shows. But I have really enjoyed it, and I wish I had done that sooner. I wish I would have done eBay sooner. I wish I would have done TCG Player sooner. I no longer sell on TCG Player right now, but just trying it and seeing what I liked best would have been the better route for me to go. Just try it all, see what I had enjoyed the most, and then picked from there where to refine. Where I've gotten to now after trying them all over a longer period of time than I probably should have, I learned that my website is definitely my main source of business that I want to focus on, but I also enjoy selling on eBay, and I also enjoy vending at shows. And all of those will benefit from my social media following as well. So that's going to wrap up this video. Hopefully this was helpful to some of you. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below. I'm happy to interact with anyone with questions. If you've got suggestions for future videos, please let me know that as well. Very helpful for me when I'm going through a time where I can't decide what I think you guys want to hear, is to just read what you guys want to hear in the comment section. Again, if you guys found this helpful, I ask that you consider subscribing, liking this video, hitting the notification bell to be notified when future videos get posted. Check the links in my description below. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time. God bless.